Intel hints Meteor Lake Xe-LPG will be featuring 8 or 4 Xe cores. MSI is preparing beyond 6 GHz BIOS settings for Intel 14th generation of CPUs. And Intel Core i9 4900K may be the fastest CPU in Passmark.
This is Tech Track.
Alright, so firstly we have Andres Schilling has tweeted this or posted this in X or Twitter, and as you can see it says Intel is leaking with its own swag. We know there will be different configurations of the compute IO and graphics styles with Meteor Lake. The GPU will use 8 or 4 Xe cores. So basically what he's saying is that the Meteor Lake processors will have, of course, the iGPU, right? And these iGPUs will have two configurations. There will be 8 or 4 Xe cores. Basically 8 Xe cores or 4 Xe cores configuration. These are 2 Xe cores that you can see here. As you can see in this picture, you can see this is an 8 core layout and the GPU 4 core layout. So that would mean there will be 2 configurations. Not sure if that would be like in the same SKU or 2 variants, or will be like in different SKU, and yeah, this will be added. I don't know. We will see about that. It's just a leak we're looking at. Also, we have to note one thing is that these will be chiplet design, so that's really interesting that Intel is moving to that chiplet kind of style. And as there's chiplet kind of style, we might be seeing either 8 or 4, depending on which one is more flexible. Now, it really depends on what kind of design they prefer flexible for them. Like, we might not be seeing either 8 or 4, or what I'm trying to say here is that we'll be seeing only one of these. It might be 8 or 4 depending on which CPU, of course. So obviously we won't be seeing these two at the same SKU. Obviously it will be in different SKUs. So as it's a chiplet design, right, they will having more flexibility to include either 8 or 4 depending on the SKU. So we'll see about that. Next up, Chili Dog has posted this interesting thing here, and this is really interesting because 4th generation might be going beyond 6 GHz, which I've already talked about, but I didn't assume this much faster, which is kind of crazy. So he mentions that BIOS screenshot from a friend who just got a new Z790 Ace Max. So basically, as you can tell, this is an MSI board because the BIOS is from the MSI, and it's a Z790 Ace Max mobile, which is going 6.3. There's a settings right over here, as you can see, peak or beyond 6 GHz plus. So there will be an option for it in the OC section here. So as you can tell, there's a 6.1, 5.7, 6.2, 5.7. I'm guessing 5.7 is the, well, all core and 6.1 is single core, or I could, yeah, that would make more sense. 5.7 all core, 6.1 single core, that is more expected, but I'm not sure. We'll see about that. But as you can tell, there's a 6.3, 5.8 gigahertz settings here, which is kind of mind-blowing. It is, like, they're going beyond 6 gigahertz and reaching up to 6.3, and 5.8 would be the all core, I'm guessing. So that's kind of crazy. That is kind of fast. Didn't expect they would do this, because going 6 gigahertz is already crazy. Now 6.3 with some overclock obviously is gonna suck a lot of power. That is without a doubt, probably over 250, 300 watts from a single CPU, which is kind of crazy, but we'll see about that. But again, having a flexibility to 6.3 is kind of massive. And next up, we might be seeing the same situation for Intel Core i9 4900KF. And well, what I was talking about was literally the same thing. As you can see, the typical TDP is rated here in the Passmark CPU test. As you can tell, it's at 125 watts, but the TDP goes up to 253 watts. So yeah, it's kind of expected. And the average CPU mark, we're looking at 59,384 in the Passmark single thread. We're looking at 400 or 4,939. So not bad. So let's see the comparison. Right here, as you can see, and the average CPU mark score, we're looking at Intel Core i9 4900KF lagging behind 3900K, which is kind of disappointing. Why would they, lag behind? I mean, even though it's not a huge lag, just 59,384 and 59,760, so it's not a huge lag, of course, not that disappointing. Though AMD Ryzen 9 7950X going ahead 63,380, so that kind of makes the Ryzen 9 better. But if we consider other, like the single core or the single thread, as you can tell, Intel Core i9 4900KF going beyond 4,900, so that's better. No one comes close to that. Maybe like 466, but still there's some score 300-ish difference here, so that is we need to consider. So in terms of single thread, it's looking pretty good. Ryzen 9 7950X is way well, the difference is there. You can tell 600 plus or 600, yeah, somewhat around 600, yeah. But yeah, like Intel Core i9 4900KF is looking pretty good in single thread, but I guess in the multi-core or multi-thread, it kind of lags behind. So now last we have to talk about the CPU mark pricing or CPU value. We could say that CPU marks per price or per dollar, you could say. But the question is, we don't really have the pricing. I'm guessing like if we consider Intel Core i9 3900K S, well, my guess would be around $800 to $900 because KS was $999, I believe, which wasn't worth it at all. Like it was way too expensive. But as for i9 4900KF, not sure what the pricing would look like, but I'm hoping it will be better value than 3900K at least. If not, then what's the point of upgrading, right? Because I mean, that makes the CPU better, right? 4900KF, the Raptor Lake refresh better than 3900K, so it should be cheaper. I'm not sure it will cheap. I mean, KF should be cheaper than the 3900K, so I'm not sure that will be the case. We'll see about that. We still have to wait for the pricing, and the performance is not looking that bad. It's just in multi-core or multi-thread, there isn't any huge uplift, but in single thread there is. So for gaming, of course, gonna slay, definitely. Yeah, what do you think? Will this CPU go beyond 6.3 gigahertz, which is kind of crazy because this kind of suggests that, or will it be like a complete failure? I believe it won't be as long as the pricing is correct, of course. Until then, of course, have a good day, and of course, like and subscribe because that is more important for me at least, and have a good day.